In my playbook tonight, Republicans want you to really be afraid about health care reform. They have no solution, so fear is their only strategy to defeat President Obama's plan. They keep on saying that we're going to end up like this system they've got north of the border in Canada, which according to the GOP is socialized medicine, and something that we really should be afraid of. Here's a sample of that right-wing fear-mongering.
I had a friend of mine in Florida who called up recently and said he just lost a friend of his in Canada because the government decided he was too old for a certain kind of procedure.
That's exactly what's going on in Canada and Great Britain today. They don't have the appreciation of life as we do in our society.
They're going to save money by rationing care, getting you in a long line. Places like Canada, United Kingdom, and Europe, people die when they're in line.
And, of course, this just in, no one in the United States dies at all. This has been a familiar Republican refrain lately. You've seen some of it land in psycho talk here on the Ed Show. Not only is it crazy and wrong, it's offensive to our neighbors north of the border who actually have a pretty darn good health care system, and they're really sick and tired of these GOP attacks. Joining me now live from Toronto is the leader of Canada's New Democrats, Jack Layton. Mr. Layton, good to have you with us tonight here on the Ed Show on MSNBC. What is your response to the basic tone that has been presented by the antis of a public option in the United States and the way they're using your system to really be the boogeyman in all of this? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Ed, first, thanks for the opportunity to set the record straight, because the fact is this Republican insurance industry-driven campaign to try to prevent a public option from coming forward in the United States, it actually reminds us of a battle we went through 50 years ago when it was actually our party, the New Democratic Party, with a leader who's been voted the greatest Canadian, by the way, even though he's long since left us, Tommy Douglas, fought and led a movement to make sure that everybody could get access to health care that they could afford.
But Mr. Layton, the American people want to know if they are lies. Are these lies that you're hearing south of the border?
Yeah, it's absolutely not true. If you've got a life-threatening condition of any sort here in Canada, you're going to be given top priority. And the first thing the nurse is going to check is your pulse, not whether you've got a line of credit or whether you have health care coverage from one of these big insurance companies that are doing awfully well, as you mentioned earlier in the show, with their profits. And so I can see why they don't want to see reform. But here in Canada, we felt everybody should be able to get access to health care, and the World Health Organization has said that our health care system's one of the better ones in the world.
And Canadians are happy for the most part? I mean, can you give me a number, 50, 60, 70, 80%? Is there a number available?
Well, it's 85%, and I'll tell you one thing, not even the most right-wing conservative party in our country anywhere would come forward and suggest that we dismantle the system of health care we've got in Canada. There'd be an uprising in this country because people like to know that if they have to go to the hospital, they get care first. They're not asked for their credit card. They're not attacked by lawyers and lawsuits.
And what about these stories that a lot of Canadians leave Canada to come down to the United States for health care because it's so bad in Canada? Address that for us.
Well, if that were true, there'd be an awful lot of Canadians in the waiting rooms in Detroit coming across from Windsor. It just doesn't happen. Sure, there's some people who have a certain clinic they like or a certain doctor they like. There's a tradition of going back and forth across the border, and sometimes that fits under the plan, and it's natural. I mean, we're big countries that are side by side, but the vast majority of Canadians are very, very happy with our healthcare system right now.
And Mr. Layton, tell us, are you going to go on some type of truth-telling mission in the United States to straighten the record out?
I think it's important. I was down in Washington a couple of months ago to underline the truth about the Canadian system, and we're going to keep that message coming, and I'll be doing some more of that traveling myself.
I look forward to meeting you, Mr. Layton. I appreciate your time here on MSNBC tonight. Thanks so much.